I'd like to clarify something which is quite important to me. The other day, I came across a cyclist on the pavement, and I stopped the cyclist. This is in Rugby, and eventually the cyclist stopped, and he seemed slightly irritated that I stopped him, and he said the reason he was cycling on the pavement was because he didn't feel safe on the road. Well, I understand that he may not feel safe on the road, but the answer is if he doesn't feel safe on the road, it's not appropriate for him to ride on the pavement. If he doesn't feel safe on the road, then he should get off his bike and walk. And Freddy6666 says, at 1.14 in my video on the danger of cycling, I say that if the cyclist does not feel safe on the road, get off the bicycle and become a pedestrian. What a totally one-sided thing to say. Because does that then give the cyclist the right to say to motorists to get off the road and become a pedestrian? Personally, for me, simply about motorists and cyclists sharing the highway and respecting each other's space, this clearly hasn't been happening for years now. I agree. Again, speaking from personal experience as a cyclist and a pedestrian, when cycling, so many motorists have no respect or patience for cyclists, and until this changes, when necessary, I will continue to cycle on the footpath, but also, when on the footpath, show respect and give space to pedestrians. Well, you must be remarkable if that's the case. The people who cycle on the footpath in Rugby speed down the footpath and pay no attention to pedestrians, and indeed expect pedestrians to duck out of the way. So if you are being respectful to pedestrians, I would like to know which side of the road, which side of the footpath does a pedestrian walk, and which side of the footpath does a bicyclist ride, and at what point, when the footpath narrows, do you get off your bike and walk? So unless it's labelled as a place for using bicycles, the footpath is primarily for pedestrians, and I'm afraid as I say, I think that needed some clarification. And if you don't like it on the road, and if there isn't space allocated on the footpath, I think the answer is to become a pedestrian. If you don't like driving on the road in a car, again, the answer is to become a pedestrian or simply use public transport. It's very simple. Sorry to be so clear, but clearly I wasn't clear enough in the first place. So clarity is always a sort of stab, isn't it, at an effort to express oneself unambiguously. But ambiguity is always there because one doesn't know. One of the things I remember being told years and years ago was that orthodoxy is defined by heresy, and we define clarity by being pulled up and by being presented with alternative views, which one disagrees with, and it takes a bit of time to articulate the clear statement. So we have an emotional idea that this is where we should be, but getting there intellectually sometimes takes a little bit of time. And sometimes, of course, that emotional position is wrong. And that is why discussion is so important. That's why I will continue to heart comments in the comment section below and to encourage people to say whatever they think, particularly if that encourages other people to challenge them. Because, as Pope Francis says, who am I? Who am I to judge? I am simply on a quest to try and find the truth myself. I don't know it. I'm not the oracle. I'm simply a voice speaking in isolation, but a voice which I hope will stimulate other people also to speak and to speak out.